On this vote, the yeas are 74, the nays are 19. One senator voted present. Under the previous order requiring 60 votes for the adoption of this conference report, the conference report is agreed to.
Mr. President.
Senator from California.
Do I need to move to reconsider or lay anything on the table, or we are done? Move to reconsider and lay on the table.
Without objection.
Thank you. Well, it has been a very long and winding road to get to this place. And I am overwhelmed with the amazing vote that we just had, the margin of success, the fact that this is a product that is not only bipartisan but bicameral. I understand the House vote was equally lopsided in favor. And I think it sends a tremendous signal to the people of America, and that is that we can work together. Do not give up hope. When it comes to the well-being of our people, we must get together. And I know that the President must be smiling broadly because he has stated over and over again how important it has been for us to pass a highway bill, to pass a student loan reduction in interest rate bill in order to help our people. I have said many times that what kept me going and so many others, and I'm going to name the various chairmen that I work with here and over on the House side and the staffs, what really kept us all going is the fact that we know how the construction sector has been hit hard in this recession. And the housing crisis started this recession. It has not gotten better. It is slowly coming around, but new construction is going to take a while until all the inventories are back in an appropriate place. And what's going to help us? We could fill 10 Super Bowl stadiums with unemployed construction workers, Mr. President. We're looking at well over 1 million construction workers who are unemployed. Well, this was the answer. The transportation sector is hurting, the construction sector is hurting, and today we have sent a message, a powerful message, that for 2 years and 3 months, we have funded a good bill that is going to employ up to 3 million workers and help thousands and thousands of businesses. And it's all in the private sector and things that need to be done. We know we have 70,000 bridges that are deficient. Mr. President, we know we have 50% of our roads that are deficient. And we know that we have transit systems that need to make capital improvements. We know we have bike paths that need fixing and pedestrian walkways that need fixing, and all of that has been resolved. Now, are there things in this package that I don't like? Absolutely. Are there things in this package that my Republican counterparts don't like? Absolutely. We had to give, we had to take, we struggled, and I want to say, I'm going to read into the record now the names of these staffers. Now, this is an unbelievable list, so I'm going to do it quickly. And I'm going to say that to these staffers from the various committees, that they knew how important their work was. They knew if we didn't succeed, there would be no more money in the Highway Trust Fund, and all of the repairs on our roads would stop, and the repairs on our bridges, because everyone out there, since Dwight Eisenhower was president, depends on the federal share. Can't have a strong economy without a strong infrastructure. So here are the names. I'm not reading Democrats and then Republicans. I'm reading the bipartisan list of staffers. Bettina Poirier, Ruth Van Mark, David Napoliello, James O'Keefe, Andrew Dorman, Murphy Barrett, Tyler Rushforth, Kyle Miller, Jason Albritton, Grant Cope, Mike Burke, Tom Lynch, Mark Hibner, Charles Brittingham, Alex Rangel, Dimitri Karakitsos. I also want to thank the leadership staff when things were looking glum. There they were. David Crone, Bill Douster, Bob Herbert, and the staff directors of the key committees who worked on this. Remember, this was 4-committee process. It was EPW, it was banking, it was commerce, it was finance. So I thank Russ Sullivan, Dwight Fettig, Ellen Doneski, and their amazing team. That team includes Ryan Abrahams with the Finance Committee, Ian Jeffries, David Bonelli, Anna Lattin, and James Reed with the Commerce Committee, Homer Carlisle with the Banking Committee, and I also want to thank Senate Legislative Counsel, particularly Rochelle Celebrezze and Gary Endicott, whom I drove crazy yesterday, telling them, please produce the paper. Well, this staff that I read, they love their work so much I thought they'd never end it. I'm telling you, I had to beg them, please finish, because there will always be something more you could do. It can always be something better. You can always put a comma in a different place. They wanted to make this as perfect as they could. And there was a time when we just had to say, okay, we're done. And they got it done. I am very moved at their dedication. Mr. President, I know that my staff at EPW for 3 days, the top staff that I've read here, if they got 4 or 5 hours of sleep, they got a lot. They're just running on empty right now. And I tell them that their names will forever be in this record, and people that they don't know will flourish because of their work when we start hiring people to do this infrastructure work. I want to thank my dear colleagues, Jay Rockefeller, Max Baucus, Tim Johnson. No way could I have done it without them. And I also want to pay tribute to Mary Landrieu, who's on the floor today. Mary Landrieu, Senator Landrieu, and her state, they've gone through so many traumas, so many, with hurricanes and all the attendant problems, and the BP oil spill, which put such terrible damage, which meant so much terrible damage to her state and the other Gulf states. Environmental damage, commercial damage, broke hearts, broke spirits, but let me tell you, you never break Mary Landrieu's spirit. And she teamed up with her colleague here, Senator Vitter, and they wrote the Restore Act. And then she went to all the other colleagues in the Gulf Coast and said, you've got to help me with this, and they put together a great package. And what it really means, without going into details, she'll go into the details, is that when the court decision comes down and the funds come to the federal government for all the violations of law that took place with the BP spill, 80% of those funds will be directed to the very people that got hurt. And Senator Landrieu, it is an honor to work with you. It is a privilege. And you have been a model for a senator who never, ever, ever stops fighting. And I am so grateful that I was able to step up to the plate and help you. So I will add some more names of colleagues, because I just don't have time at this point. I know others want to speak. But this is a great moment. The bill we passed is a good bill. It's going to speed up project delivery without waiving any environmental laws. So we keep the protections in. We give a little more flexibility to the states on the alternative transportation routes. But believe me, we also add a new piece that gives more power to the local people to decide on these projects. I'm just so pleased, and I will I will add a few more statements to the record later today. But we have done this. We're going to mark this moment, and after we get our breath back and after we get our energy back, we're going to look at a long-term solution to the problem of the Highway Trust Fund. We know the gas tax receipts are going down, and we have to solve the problem. If it wasn't for Senator Baucus and his staff, we never would be at this point, because we didn't have the funding and they had to come up with it. So I thank them and the Republicans on the committee, And with that, Mr. President, I yield the floor, thanking one and all for this tremendous vote today.